Hey everybody, this is Dante, and you're listening to Paradigms. What is Paradigms? Paradigms is a business. What do I sell? I sell health and wellness products. What do I believe in? Does it really matter what I believe? It doesn't matter what you believe. Think about that. A lot of people get offended. I know I'm not even gonna say a lot of people, but there's this small segment of society because we are the majority. It might be 50-50. It's like certain people out there, they'll find out that you believe a different way than they do, and they won't do business with you even though there's something that you have that they need. Or they'll base it off of something so shallow to not do business with you, even though you have the thing that they want. And we wonder what's messed up with this world. We wonder what's messed up with this world. But all that matters is your happiness. That's all that matters. You know, can't nobody take that away from you. Can't nobody take that away from you. You're responsible for creating your own happiness. You hear this music playing in the background. That's from Final Fantasy VII. The actual name of the track is called The Oppressed. It's called The Oppressed. Ironically, because that's how we're feeling right now, you know, as a society. We're feeling oppressed. Americans, y'all just don't value the little bit that y'all do have. I was watching The War Room with Owen Schroyer, and what did he say today? He said, well, I'm trying to think what it was pertaining to, what he said. Give me a moment, folks. Oh, it's the iPhone in China. I got so much on my mind, guys. It's not even funny. It was the iPhone in China. And he said, like Apple, Tim Cook, they moved over there to thinking that, oh yeah, we'll be able to push these iPhones on the Chinese. And it's like, you idiot. You do realize that's a communist country, right? Yes. Communism. Are most of the people wealthy? It was like, but we got a 3 billion people market. We got a market where we're like advertising a 3 billion, not advertising, but we have a market that we tapped into that has a populace it consists of 3 billion people. At least he thought. Really, you don't have that many people because only the very, very few are wealthy. And the many are poor. The many are poor. And you're not gonna sell as many iPhones as you would over here in America because we have something called upward mobility. So, you know, and then we're also spoiled rotten. Not saying me, I'm saying as a society, we're spoiled as Americans. Spoiled rotten, god dang it. Nothing to be proud of, but at least those people, I mean, it benefits certain corporations because they can afford the phones every year. They can afford to upgrade every year. But you know what? That's also starting to slow down here in America too. That's starting to slow down here in America too because you guys pushed this too far. You guys pushed it too far. People running this, you know? How can you blame the people that you call the bottom feeders? How can you blame them if they're bottom feeders? You can't blame them because that disrupts your whole ideology. Oh yeah, those are bottom feeders. It's the people's fault. No, so what they're gonna blame it on? They're gonna, oh, it's this one man's fault. No, it's a system. And who's responsible for that system? What is the name of that system? The system is the banking system. centralized banking, the banking cartel. We've been exposing it for years. Now it's coming to a point where it's actually coming to the end of a cycle. You know, we always go through these 8 to 10 year boom and bust cycles, you know, and the yield curve. I just found out about the yield. I've been knowing about the yield curve, but I don't follow it like that. And it's like, okay, so when this breaks this and when gold reaches this, look at the charts. Find out what an ETF is. Find out what a PTF is. Find out what a central bank is. Find out what fractional reserve banking, quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, all of these monetary terms and monetary policy. You understand? So you can get caught up to date on this information. This is the paradigms. You understand what I'm saying? So what else? You got find out what the SDR is. Find out what the SDR and how much your currency, your national currency is valued. What percentage of your national currency makes up the basket of the SDR? You know, we're not ready to even talk about that. Like I said, I want to reach new people. But if you're interested in like really learning some financial stuff, what's the difference between an asset and a liability? Is a vehicle, is a motor vehicle, is that an asset or a liability? Is a home an asset or a liability? Just because you have equity in something and what you think to be an asset doesn't mean that it's liquid. No, it doesn't. It's not liquid until you go to sell. Now it's liquid. You understand what I'm saying? So just because something has equity doesn't mean it's a good investment. Doesn't mean it might. I mean, if it has equity in it, it might have been a good investment. But when you go to sell, it's the only time that it actually matters. So you have this false sense of security from Americans that are like homeowners. And I'm not saying every single homeowner. I'm saying this is just the way most people look at it. They're like, oh, so I have equity in my home and I'm a homeowner. That's an investment. Technically, it's like 50-50 if you're a homeowner. It depends because really, if you have a mortgage, it's still a liability. And are you going to pay it off in 30 years? Did you know if you have a 30-year mortgage and you're paying on that for 30 years, did you know that you could have bought that house over 3 times at the original valuation? It's called inflation. Then not only the inflation, but the actual interest rates. So you have everything, you have all of these things, these factors, compounding interest working against you, not in your favor. Compound interest. High interest rates, especially if your credit is jacked up. So you got high interest rates, all types of taxes adding up in there, all kinds of stuff. Like you're getting hit with everything. Whereas if you are a business owner, you can mitigate a lot of that. You understand the corporate tax. Not only did it just get lowered last year, another one of Trump's accomplishments, but also, the corporate tax it's already been low. It's always been lower than the tax bracket you fall into as an employee. And there's like at least 5 different tax brackets from 0 to 25 to 25 to 50, from 50 to like 150 and 150 to like $250,000. It's a tax bracket, and each time you make a little bit more, you get taxed even more. So that, you know how they say the more you make, the more you get taxed? That's only true. That statement is only true if you are under that particular tax bracket. If you get in a W-2, you're in that tax bracket. That applies to you. If you are a business owner, the more you make, the more you make. You know, you don't get taxed more because so, you know, there's a business you could be making like you could gross like 6 figures as a business owner and be better off than someone working a job, making the same, grossing the same amount. they're gonna get taxed at that like 40%. They're only gonna see maybe $65,000 of their money. Whereas the person, especially if they set their corporation up the right way, they might get to walk away with $85,000. You understand what I'm saying? Versus like 65. It's like, dude, wouldn't you want extra $20,000? That's why if you are a professional, if you are specialized, whatever you do, you might as well work for yourself. You know, I'm not saying become a contractor, because that's not owning your own business. They have a whole separate form to fill out if you are working as a private contractor. So you have the employee, you have the business owner, you have the sole proprietor, you have the corporations. There's different things you can do. You understand? And that's why, like, it's always good if you're like in any profession, but I'm gonna pick on the medical profession. I'm gonna say if you're a medical professional or practitioner, really, and you're making that money, is like, instead of being an employee and being taxed out the wazoo, why not start your own clinic? Why not start your own business? And now you're not getting taxed as much. The government actually likes you a lot more. The government on paper likes you a lot more than if you're an employee. No matter how much you're making, they hate that. Even though, like, you would think, oh, aren't they making more money because we get taxed more? No, believe it or not, it's the businesses that make the government more money, because the businesses drive value production. And without value production, you would not have any employees in the first place. So governments, they love businesses. This is why a lot of businesses, in certain cases, sometimes become subsidized by the governments. And sometimes it can get out of control, because it can lead to a whole host of other problems, just like the 0% interest rates. You understand? Businesses, the 0% interest rates is something dealing with the private sector, though, but it affects every sector, though. But I'm saying that to use that as an analogy in comparing the type of breaks that the businesses get. You understand what I'm saying? So think about it. Just think about it. You know, think about how much better the world would be if you had more entrepreneurs, more philanthropists, more business owners, more corporations starting up, more everything, better food, more of a variety of choice. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when I walk down that street, it's like I can go to, like, you know, at least 10 different 5-star restaurants, because competition is thick. Competition is stiff. That's the type of world I want to live in. That's what capitalism provides. What we have now is something called crony capitalism. And that is why everything is messed up. And it doesn't matter how much you cry for the democratic socialism. It doesn't matter how much you cry for fascism, even though it's the main people that are crying fascism when they are the fascists. They're not crying for fascists. They're saying that the opposition is the fascist, when it's like, no, you are the fascist, because these people are trying to focus on capitalism. The governments don't really create the crony capitalism. They allow the system to become crony, and now it's corrupt, and it's like a cancer. It's like it becomes like a cancer. And what did Rothschild say? He said, if I could control a nation's basically monetary policy or finances, he said, then I couldn't care less who makes the laws and who's actually running that, because he understands fundamentally that nations and everything is actually driven by money. It's driven. Economies drive society. You have an economic collapse. You have a systemic collapse within the financial institution. With everything else around it falls apart. Because what else are you putting the value to? We all gave the money value. We all gave the paper value. we've all been in a mind, you know what? So we've given this value. Okay? This thing called money that what hasn't been backed by gold in like 50 years. Approximately. Think about 48 years. But give or take. So you know, we didn't get up in an uproar about it. And we didn't follow the Constitution when they said when your government tries to debase, in America they said when your government tries to debase your currency, then they need to be beheaded. That's in the Constitution. And we allowed it to happen, and there was no uproar. So why do you think Obama can spend like 8 trillion? I think I'm being conservative. I believe it. I think it was about 8 trillion. How can he spend about $1 trillion every year, and then it matches how much national debt? It matched the national deficit that he had already came in with. So he came in. I'm talking about Obama. He came in with $8 trillion, right? And then he added another 8 trillion. Obama doubled the national deficit. Now trillion, when we talk about $1 trillion, that's not nothing to cough at. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot of money. You know how many infrastructures you could have built so many times over with that type of money? It's ridiculous. But we don't even talk about that. I'm bringing it up because this is my channel. And if you like what I do here in exposing this, please go to my website and support me. These are my cards. You see that? That's me. All right. And go to all the links are gonna be in the description. Look at that. You know, all the links are gonna be in the description. If you don't like it, then get the hell out of here. I'm actually doing something by even bringing this to people's attention. I just hope that y'all do understand how bad it really is, but that there is hope if you do listen to people like me, if you do listen to people like, you know, other people. I'm not even gonna get into it right now. There's all kinds of people to listen to, but you gotta make sure you're listening to the right people. I'm gonna cut it here, guys. I just hope that y'all can be saved, and if y'all can't, I tried.